Here's Bryan Houston.
It's happy hour, 5 o'clock. You made it through another day. Thanks very much for joining us. Bryan Houston here along with Chuck McKinley, and we're talking about the Cowboys as they now hold it in their hands. They can see it. Jerry Jones is already starting to grope his old Super Bowl trophies, getting all excited now.
He's thinking about New Orleans.
He's starting to sweat, starting to twitch just a little bit. You know, I mean, it's sad. It's just sad. You win one game and play well, and all of a sudden he's talking about Super Bowls.
But they haven't collapsed in December yet.
You know, I'm just when will the nurse just come and lead him back to his room?
Oh.
I mean, really?
But Bryan,
I mean, come on.
think positively. It's part of the process, man.
I'm positive he's nuts, okay? That's all I know. All right, we're going to go to the APEC VIP hotline. Excited to talk to him today. APEC providing cutting-edge training for the serious athlete. At APEC, results speak for themselves when their athletes hit the field. With us right now, as he is every Tuesday during the 5 o'clock hour, from 1310 The Ticket in Dallas, Donovan Lewis. How you doing, Donovan?
That may have been the worst image you could have ever put in my head. With Jerry Jones groping the Super Bowl trophy, sweating, and all that stuff. I appreciate that.
Glad to be.
So when I have a nightmare tonight, I will call you up and curse you out. How about that?
I'll be happy to comfort you. I don't know how I'll do that, but I'll try to comfort you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you better. You need to. You owe me that, at least.
I'm so sorry. I'm looking at the Dallas Morning News website, and right before I go on the air today, and you know, the headline is Jerry saying it's not improbable, it's not impossible to think about the Cowboys and the Super Bowl. They win one game, okay?
Yeah.
And they play well. I mean, I'm thrilled with the way they played in that game against the Steelers, but he's talking Super Bowl.
Yeah, Jerry's the slowest roll. Don't even worry about that. You just talk. If you want to talk about anything, you talk about New Orleans, and that's all you can focus on. And I think that's what this team has been doing, going one game at a time. So why not Jerry? Just shut his pie hole and just let it be. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But why even go there?
He just can't help himself. He cannot.
No, he can't. And it's just like a little kid. You kind of want to put his hand on the oven again so he can burn himself and say, see what happens? See what happens when you jump the gun? Just shut up. Let it go. Let things happen. Those two words shouldn't even come across his lips right now because it's so far away that right now, if the season ended, you're not even in it. You're not even in the playoffs. So what's the point?
Thank you. All right. Now, let's get past Jerry and talk about what we saw on Sunday. Did you see any of this coming?
No. Well, you know what? I thought they would play okay, especially offensively. The thing that surprises me, and I've been the harshest critic of Rob Ryan, I will admit that, but it is unbelievable how he has that defense playing with the people he will throw out there on the field. I mean, I think we counted in the postgame show at least eight guys on defense alone that they brought in off the street.
Yes.
Not off another team. They were just sitting at the crib, chilling, drinking some Yoo-Hoo or whatever, and they get the call and they roll in. I mean, that is unbelievable to have that many guys playing that significant minutes that started out this season sitting at the house, and 2 weeks ago at the house, a week ago at the house. I think that says a little something about the scheme that he has, and that they're really, really playing. Well, I don't want to say playing well defensively, but they're bending and not breaking. They're doing just enough to keep themselves in the game. When they really need it the most, you saw Lissamore with the sack on first down and Spencer with the sack on second down. And you're thinking, good gosh, these dudes are making plays when they have to, and they're leaving it up to this offense to go down and try to do something, and the offense is responding right now. I don't think it's a coincidence that we see Des Bryant and Tony Romo playing as good as football as they've ever played, and the Cowboys have won 5 or 6. That's how it is. Those are the two best players on this team. And if they play well, then the team's going to play well. And they're really responding right now, man, especially with some of the guys. When I watched the game Sunday, I had to ask Norm, hey, who is the 60, whatever his name number was? Who's 66? And Norm had to look at his roster to tell me who it was. He had no idea either. And I think that is just unbelievable for that to happen.
the thing that is even more amazing to me than what you just mentioned with the defense was the way the offensive line played, because I fully expected Tony Romo to have his head separated from his body 5 or 6 times in this ball game, and they played the best game they've played all year.
They really did. They really did, and he was not back there running for his life. I thought Pittsburgh was going to come in so mad because they got absolutely drilled by San Diego the week before at home. And I thought they would come in and just try to absolutely destroy Romo on what he was doing. And you're right. The offensive line played well enough that Romo was just standing back there. And I believe he was sacked once or twice. I can't remember. But it was a really clean game. And you're right. They really needed that game from that offensive line at this particular time. But you know what? As much as they can pat themselves on the back and as much as these defense can say, you know what, we made the plays when we needed to, that's all erased, man. You got to go out and do the same exact thing against New Orleans Sunday. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Oh, you're exactly right. And it's just so impressive, though, that what they did in that ball game, because you knew it was going to be like playing in Pittsburgh. And it basically was, so they weren't going to have a home field advantage. And you knew Big Ben was there, and it was Big Ben that made the big bonehead mistake at the end of the ball game instead of Romo.
Yeah, I didn't know what Phil Simms was talking about when he said that pass was a good throw. That was a horrible throw.
No.
But Brandon Carr just took advantage of it. You know, we talk all the time about this team not being able to force turnovers. They're not going to fall into your lap. But when they do fall into your lap, you've absolutely got to take advantage of it. Cincinnati didn't do it last week because they dropped 3 or 4 interceptions. Brandon Carr had one put right in his breadbasket, and he just tucked it in and went down to the 1-yard line. You've got to take advantage of the other team's mistakes. I can imagine when Pittsburgh sits back and they watch this game and they realize that they were penalized exactly 0 times the entire game, that they lost this game. It's just 2 costly mistakes. You could tell, man, you can see it rolling, that it was a heavyweight fight. One punch, and it was the first person that let their guard down and got hit right in the mouth that was going to lose the game. And that's what happened in overtime, man. It was really a fantastic game to watch, man. One of those ones where you sit back and you look at it on TV and you curse about 30 times. Stand-up moments, stuff like that. It was really, because a stand-up moment for me was when they trotted out that field goal unit, a 61-yard field goal attempt in the 4th quarter. I stood up with my arms out like, what the blanket is blank is blank and blank. Good gosh. But that's what we love about football, man. So many decisions you have to make, and you think something's going to happen, then something else happens. It's great, man.
Well, I know one thing with this team that's been so impressive is the way they keep battling, and the games they've pulled out in 4th quarters and in overtimes. 5-1 in that stretch when they've trailed in virtually every one of these ball games. Right. I mean, they don't have the talent that everybody says they have. They've got talent in spots. Okay, but boy, I mean, what does that say that they just keep battling and they keep finding ways to win here in these last 6 games?
Man, I don't know. It's just amazing, man, because we've seen this team just fold up like a card table, man, when things get rough. We've seen it before, but now they've just, when they get down, and it's a shame that sometimes they get down by 2 or 3 touchdowns to teams they shouldn't, but you're right, they do fight back. Now, if they go on and lose some of these, these games, that we call that a loser's cry. But they fought back, and they've won some of these games, and now they're in a position. Now, tell me if you would have thought this about 6 weeks ago.
Not a chance.
They win their last 2 games, they win the division.
Not a chance.
How crazy is that to say right now? I mean, we thought after the Chicago game, we thought after the Washington game, they're dead. You know what, just lose some games and get a good draft pick so we can fix all what's wrong with this team. And right now, if they win the last 2, heck, even if they lose against New Orleans and the Giants lose, that last game against Washington will be for the division. It's unbelievable to think about that right now, man.
I don't know what you guys do, but every week, we'll sit down. We've got a little office pool going here, and we'll pick all the ball games. And I've never been more confused by an NFL season than this one. I mean, how do you explain the Saints putting up a 41-0 shutout with that defense against Tampa Bay? How do you explain that?
I don't know. You can't. Teams have bad days because you look at that Giants and Atlanta game, and you thought that you knew it was going to be a good game, but you didn't expect the Giants to go in there and lay an egg. Hey, Eli had his worst game of the year, and it showed. They get shut out. Josh Freeman, I believe he threw 4 picks. That's a good way to get shut out and get beat up against a defense that's even not really that good. So it'll be interesting to see which New Orleans team shows up. They're still mathematically in it, but we all know that New Orleans is not going to make the playoffs. But, boy, don't you know they would love to spoil what Dallas has going on right now. So they're going to come in fired up, and Dallas is going to have to keep this thing going with these no-name guys on defense, man. It is when I see that starting lineup and you see Ware, Spencer, Sensabaugh, and Carr are the only guys last week that you thought would start, that's starting right now. That's 7 guys that were either just sitting, chilling on the street, or you didn't think would get in any chance at all. So they just got to stay fired up, and they got to make plays again. Just do just enough to keep them in it. And that offense has been out here bailing them out here lately. So it's a team thing, all 3 phases. I know we kind of laugh when Jason Garrett rolls with the all 3 phases, but they played well Sunday and well enough to win the game, and they're just going to have to keep this thing going. 2 wins, they're in the playoffs, and my gosh, that's just crazy to even think about, man.
And what's even crazier is based on the Decembers we've watched now for like the last 5 or 6 years.
No doubt. Yeah.
To see them winning ball games now in December, to see them winning games, I mean, are you starting to become a believer?
I'm always careful about that because
Me too.
Once you believe and once you start believing, then something crazy happens. We talk about this all the time, you and I, Bryan. Just when we think the Cowboys have everything figured out, something crazy happens and something stupid and dumb happens, and they wind up losing ball games. So I kind of hesitate being a believer right now, just saying, look, if there are going to be a lot of Saints fans at Cowboy Stadium, it's going to be the same circumstances they had last week. If they can just roll out and keep playing like they're playing right now, keep bend but don't break, keep the other team at bay a little bit, keep making the plays just enough to keep that offense give that offense a chance to go out there and win ball games, then they have a shot. I'm not saying they're out of it. I mean, if you'd asked me if Pittsburgh, did I think they were going to win that game, I would have told you no. Because I thought Pittsburgh was going to come in fired up and really upset that they lost against San Diego. So now if you're asking me about this New Orleans game, I don't know. That New Orleans offense is very potent, and that Dallas defense is no name, but you just never know what's going to happen. They just got to go out there and take that whole one game at a time mentality, because I think that's what's working for them right now. They can't look ahead. That's why what Jerry Jones said is just stupid.
Well,
why even think about looking ahead? I wouldn't even want to mention Washington right now from Dallas. It's all about New Orleans, let alone talking about the dumb Super Bowl. That's just ridiculous.
And again, when your head coach is there the whole time saying, no, all I'm talking about is today's practice.
Right.
We're going to do today's practice, and then we'll worry about tomorrow's practice. And it's like we're going to take this 1 second at a time, and then Jerry's over there babbling like a fool in the corner. You just shut up.
And just think about it. When Garrett said what he said, and Jerry said what he said, which one is going to be in the paper? Which one's going to make headlines? Which one is going to be replayed all the time? Of course, it's Jerry, because he's saying those 2 words that has everyone's ears, that perked out because he mentioned Super Bowl. Dude, that is so far away. And you haven't even qualified to earn a chance to to make it to the Super Bowl, so why even bother with it?
Don't you know, what we do. We sit around and we talk about our bosses, and we roll our eyes, and we just sit there, we go home and talk to our wives about what idiots these people are. And, and don't you know Jason Garrett? His wife must be sick of listening to him by now.
Has to. You know what? He might be mentioning him in his sleep, just fighting him in his sleep or something.
Just like you, that dream you're going to have tonight, you see?
Right. And Garrett's just cursing Jerry out in his sleep because it's just idiotic.
Jerry Jones and trophy porn. That's what it is.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. That's just a movie I wouldn't invest 1 penny in, let me tell you. But he should really keep his mouth shut. And I know it's it's something that we shouldn't worry about, but he shouldn't even mention it.
No.
So I'm blaming him.
Thank you. All right, what's your take on the Josh Brent situation?
I said on the post-game show that I did not have a problem with it because the dude is a teammate, and I get that. And I think they're really looking out for him because I can just see a situation where he's at home watching his game and he's getting upset that about what happened. It was an accident. He's gonna pay his price. He's he's eventually gonna go to jail. So I just believe a little normalcy in his life right then and there may help him out a little bit. Plus the family of Jerry Brown forgave him. His mom is really adamant about that. And if she can do it, why can't we? And why can't the team? He's still a member of the Cowboys as of this moment. So I really didn't have a problem with it. But I can see if someone had an issue about it. I can see the other side. But me personally, I just didn't have a problem with it at all.
See, I wasn't bothered by it either. But at the same time, I do things with MAD, and I know that people get very livid about it, and I understand that people have lost family members to drunk drivers, and I get it all.
No doubt.
But at the same time, looking at it from the Cowboy standpoint, I mean, and if he was your friend, you wouldn't just turn your back on the guy.
No, not at all. And you know what? We've all been 24, 25 years old, and we all make mistakes. Now, our mistakes didn't cause another person to lose his life, but we did. We had make mistakes, and then you learn from them, and you eventually will have to pay the price if something happens like that. And the legal system is going to take care of what's going to go down. But he's out of jail. He's on bond. He's now no harm or anything like that. So I just didn't see a problem with it at all.
Yeah, and now they got him with an ankle bracelet so that, making sure he doesn't drink while he's out on bond and all that.
And that's all the things that they need to do. The guy's going to pay. He's going to pay the price for what he did, of course.
Heavy duty price. All right. And one thing, we won't have shows the next two Tuesdays. So okay. I got to tell you, Merry Christmas now. And I also got to tell you, how about them Gilmer Buckeyes, huh?
How about those Buckeyes? Friday at Cowboy Stadium, I will be there.
Are you?
I will be there, yes, in the crowd trying to root them on to another state championship. But I want to wish you a Merry Christmas also to all the people you work with, Bryan, and all your listeners. Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys enjoy every second of it.
And same to you, Donovan. Thank you very much for all you do for us, and we really appreciate it. I hope you have a great holiday. And
Thank you.
My best to your family, okay?
Thank you, and maybe we'll be in a couple of weeks. We'll be talking about a Cowboys playoff game. That was my Jerry Jones
Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah, that was my Jerry Jones imitation. My bad. I won't do it again.
Hey, man, I'm buying you a toupee for Christmas. Okay.
All right, I'll wear it with pride.
Thanks, man. All right, man. Donovan Lewis from 1310 The Ticket on Bryan Houston Sports Radio Live on 99.3 Talk FM, the sports talk of East Texas.